All right, let's get right into it. If you're a top producer, but you feel trapped in a golden cage, where every single dollar you make demands your personal hands-on labor, then you need to hear this. We're about to pull back the curtain on one of the most dangerous blind spots in any business, what I call the salary hallucination. And I want to be incredibly clear about what's at stake here. Let this sink in for a second. If you do not know the fully loaded cost of your human capital, you are flying your firm directly into a mountain. That's not me being dramatic. That's a genuine warning. So the root of the issue is the salary illusion. It's that completely false sense of security you get when you just glance at a base salary. You think you know your costs, but you're ignoring this massive hidden financial drain that's just quietly torpedoing your profits and your freedom. And this right here perfectly shows the gap. On one side, you've got your perception, which is laser focused on the base salary. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But on the other side, you've got the financial reality, the actual capital you're deploying, which is the fully loaded cost. It's in that gap where all the danger lives. Now, this isn't just about bad bookkeeping. When you hire based on emotion, that desperate feeling of, I just need help, instead of cold, hard numbers, you start paying a secret tax. We call it the fragility tax, and it's making your entire company fundamentally weak. And this leads directly to a catastrophic outcome. You become the single point of failure. Your constant hustle, your personal grind, becomes the only thing subsidizing the platform and keeping it from collapsing under the true weight of your team's cost. You're not leading a team anymore. You're just funding it with your own burnout. So here's the bottom line. The fragility tax is that invisible force that just eats your net margin alive. It is the price you pay for being financially blind, and it is exactly what's keeping you stuck working harder and harder and harder just to stay in the same place. Okay, enough doom and gloom. How do we actually fix this? We have to make a critical shift from thinking in terms of estimated payroll to actual capital allocation. And the tool we use for that is the fully loaded ledger. Let's walk through how it works. The formula itself is actually pretty simple. You start with the base salary, obviously. Then you tack on about 15% for payroll taxes and benefits. After that, you layer on the hard costs, things like tech seats and desk fees. And finally, and this is the one almost everyone misses, you have to factor in management overhead. That's the cost of your time spent training and managing that person. Add all that up, and that is your true cost. Let's look at a quick example to make this real. You think you're hiring someone for $70,000. Seems reasonable, right? Well, once you add in taxes, benefits, tech fees, and the cost of your time to manage them, that person's true financial burden on your company is actually $100,000. Seeing it laid out like that in black and white, it changes the entire conversation, doesn't it? Now, knowing the true cost is really only step one. Step two, which is even more important, is that you have to demand a return on that investment. This is the moment you transition from being a manager who just covers costs to an investor who demands a real yield. And the standard for that yield, it's not up for debate. It's 4 times their fully loaded cost. This number right here, this needs to become the absolute benchmark for every single role on your organizational cart. This is what we call being platform neutral. It means for every single dollar you spend on that role, they must generate $4 in value in return. So how does that break down? Well, the first dollar covers their own fully loaded cost. The other $3, they cover the firm's overhead, they drive profit, and they fund your future growth. If you're getting anything less than a 4x return, that role isn't a strategic asset. It's a liability that you are personally subsidizing. So now it's time to put on the captain's hat. You have to stop treating your org chart like it's a charity and start running it with the strict financial logic of an investor. It's time to pull up your ledger and ask some really tough questions. First up is the absence test. If you just walked away for 30 days, completely unplugged, would your team's independent execution cover their true, fully loaded costs? Or is your personal, manual labor the only thing keeping the lights on? Be honest. Second, the autonomy check. Are the people on your payroll actually executing their jobs on their own? Or are you paying that massive management tax day after day because they're completely paralyzed without your constant direction and approval? And finally, the asset validation. This is the gut check. Does your new, brutally honest ledger prove that you have a team of high-performing assets all generating a 4x return, or does it reveal the painful truth that you're just bleeding away your own hard-earned income to subsidize an extremely expensive adult daycare? In the end, it all comes down to this. Your path forward is crystal clear. You have to calculate the true burden of your talent. You have to demand a 4x ROI as the absolute non-negotiable standard of performance. And above all else, you have to protect the platform.